Welcome to Mango Bay.
One-stop shop for South Asian recklessness. We are two best boys, Usama Siddiquee.
Pranav Behari.
Today, we got a very
Shaun
special guest.
Seneviratne.
Yay, what's up?
Seneviratne.
Seneviratne.
Son of a gunny.
He's out browning us. He's mogging us on the brown tip right now.
Right.
With his exceedingly difficult, is it a Sinhalese name?
Yes.
Sinhalese Sri Lankan last name.
You know, I want to add a few more cues to mine just to
I know.
throw you off.
I mean, yeah. I
So
think
good.
that's good.
What's up, dude? Thanks for coming on the
What's
pod.
up? So stoked to be here.
You're
Yeah,
awesome.
pumped.
You're a filmmaker that works in Brooklyn.
Yep.
And you're a musician as well, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm a music teacher and filmmaker.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Very
Dude,
cool.
so I didn't hear about you before. Pranav put me on to you, and he's like, "Yo, check this stuff out, man. He's good." And I was like, "All right, dude." I love brown creators, but I'm always like, I want them to be good.
Yeah, no.
Or else we start hating. We're like, this guy sucks. He's white gazed up.
Yeah.
This guy sucks. So with healthy skepticism, and I went to your website, loved basically everything you made. I thought
you fall into a hole when you watch it, right?
Literally.
So let's just backtrack a little bit. Shaun has a great movie called Ben and Suzanne, a reunion in 4 parts. It's premiered at South by Southwest, I believe, right? And now it's having its global release.
Yeah,
what's
it's theatrical premiere.
Theatrical premiere. You want to drop the date on us?
Yeah, July 18th and 19th at the Roxy in New York.
Amazing. July 18th and 19th at the Roxy. Definitely go check it out if you're in the tri-state area. But Shaun sent us the Vimeo link because, we're fucking VIP like that. And I'd already watched it before, loved it. I didn't finish it, though, actually. I didn't watch it. I had like 15 minutes left or something. And then I rewatched it again. And then after the movie was done, I saw there were other movies by you, and I clicked on, and it's a whole universe around this couple, Ben and Suzanne. Although they have different names in the other ones, I think, don't they? Dan in one of them.
No, no, same names. But she was going to India in the original shorts, and that's originally where the movie was going to take place. And then a couple of years ago, I switched it to Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
Basically, this world you've made is a couple that should not be together. They have no vibe. No,
that's not true.
That's not true. I think it's very what struck me about your work, right? Which I love, and it's like. I was telling Pranav this. I was like, it was traumatic for me to watch these because every relationship I've ever had here, every girl I've met at Cobra Club is this relationship, man. Get off Morgan Avenue. It's chaos out there. No,
it's every Brooklyn girl that I've ever dated, and then you go on a trip with them, and then it's just like, oh fuck, why did I do this? And then there's a horrible. I don't want to give anything from the movie away, but there's like a horrible breakup type thing.
There's no need for spoilers because just live longer, and you'll experience it.
Just have any relationship, and actually, I hope we're not being too doomsday about this.
No.
This could be based on your own relationship or something like that.
Yeah, no, we could. It's not doomsday at all. Yeah.
What I want to say is that I love it because good art should make you feel. Good art should make you remember, and it is viscerally my life sometimes. Not always. Okay, I've dated black.
And I want to get into you talking about your movie real quick, but I do want to also just to talk about some things that it evoked for me. Was because the feature Ben and Suzanne in 4 parts that's shot in film.
It's a half shot on film, half on 16 millimeter, the other half digital.
Right, and for me that made a big difference. And when I was watching that for me felt like, and to me this is a compliment. It felt like a throwback to 90s indie cinema
For sure.
And I don't know if that's something that you had in mind or if that's something that you were into, but early Richard Linklater type stuff.
Clerks was definitely on my mind.
Sure, yeah. But even other Linklater stuff, even less so than Clerks. But it was really evocative. That really beautiful filmmaking, by the way, as well.
Awesome.
You know what I mean? Just top to bottom, the film, the actual cinematography, the color, and everything in it was really great. And you really captured some amazing moments. But it really brought out, this is 90s indie cinema.
Yeah.
And I really got into it. Because then I watched the other ones. I was like, this feels more contemporary.
Yeah.
And it also
There's
hit.
A slightly different vibe to every single one because each one was also an exploration of a certain style too.
Yeah.
So that's why there's no I'd say there's a certain kind of consistency throughout all of them, but stylistically there's very different things that are happening. Yeah.
Well, one thing I love about how you do dialogue is that awkward moment of hey, things are okay, but they're not. That is so much relationships is that of small brinksmanship, little wars here, and you do that It's crazy how well that dialogue is done. Like, said something that, I didn't tell me that. Why did you not tell me that?
I know the whole thing about
Small
having
little
kids,
words, right?
that whole conversation.
Yeah.
And you totally relate, because then just like, oh yeah, I'm an artsy guy and who can go with the flow with whatever, but then some masculine instinct within you is like, no, I should be reproducing.
Yeah.
Even
though it's like, but I'm chill not to.
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
exactly.
Oh, dude, is that something you work with in your stuff? Like, are you always kind of like figuring out how to do dialogue and how to like?
Yeah, I mean, like communication is like a big thing that I look at in these movies, and just like and truly from the perspective of like, no one is like a good guy, no one's a bad guy. Yeah. It's about people that have different perspectives, and how do we as like human beings, how do these characters work through these different perspectives? And sometimes you don't get like a resolution on that. You just kind of decide like, okay, cool, like we move on, but we understand like where we're both coming from with it. And so then I just try to think of it almost like a domino being like dropped, right? So like, what's the first domino, and then that triggers the second domino, and then a lot of that influence really coming from like 1940s screwball comedies and stuff like that. Yeah. So I don't know if y'all have ever seen like Philadelphia Story or The Shop Around the Corner.
Right.
But my dad's a big fan.
Nice.
My dad would try to force me to. I mean,
What a burn.
Yeah.
My dad's a big fan.
My dad was a super cool guy. Very awesome.
You ever seen Old School?
Honestly,
Loser?
South Asian dads got super into art cinema. That's how I got into movies too. My dad was into like Ingmar Bergman and stuff like that.
My dad's a Bengali. I grew up Bengali, so my dad was a big Chhatrapati Rai fan.
Yeah.
And so he would like sit me down, make me watch Pathar Pancholi like 3 parts.
Yeah,
you know, to
yeah,
watch.
that's awesome.
And when I was a
That's
kid,
a
I was like, this
pilgrimage.
is boring as fuck.
Listen,
Okay?
my dad made us watch Caddyshack.
That's
Okay?
also
So my
sick.
dad was really into comedy. He
Yeah.
had he had no tolerance for the artsy shit. He was
Yeah.
like, no, we're watching Caddyshack, and this is going to be our ritual as like a family. We'll watch Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah.
You know.
My dad's like Fallen Angels. Watch One Car Ride. Fishai. I'm like, Dad, this sucks. I want to watch like Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. I want to watch like SWAT
I
Cats.
want to hang out with Pranav's dad.
Switch dads, bro. Jesus Christ.
So I'm going to ask you, because it is like a universe of this couple.
Sure, yeah.
Like, what kind of inspired you to want to? By the way, just to give some background, it's about an interracial couple. It's about a Sri Lankan guy or Indian
dude.
guy,
Yeah.
and his like hip, Brooklyn liberal white girlfriend partner. Both of whom are amazing actors, by the way. They're really wonderful. And one thing I like is that it's not about the race stuff. Isn't really that much of a thing. It's not really about that, which I like.
Yeah.
It's really just about relationships and the awkwardness of relationships. And then you put them into an awkward situation of being in Sri Lanka.
For sure. Yeah, where like some of those things might come to a fore in some way, but not like in a, this is my identity and this is my identity sort of way.
Yes. Yeah. It's not what it's about. So. What drove you to kind of create this emotional romantic universe?
Yeah, so like in 2009, I was in a long distance relationship, and she's a white woman that went to India, and the long distance, you just hold out sort of hope that like things are just like the minute you see each other, you just hope that it's going to like snap back like to what it was, right? And so then I get there to India. And that was very clearly the case. Like that wasn't the case. And it was like 2 weeks of us traveling around, figuring out, is this like, are we a relationship or not?
Wow.
And
so
a lot
intense.
and a lot of stuff from like the most intense parts of the movie and disgusting parts from the movie are definitely like ripped from the headlines. yeah, for
including
sure.
the like explosive
Yeah.
penalty. Oh my god!
I think that was like my reason for making the movie. I was like, oh, this would be a great climax.
Did you do it intentionally? You're like, I'm gonna eat a bunch of bad key or something.
We have to narrativize our own lives, and then if that means doing that,
You're like a butthole version of Daniel Day-Lewis. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I have to do it to understand.
That was all method that was happening, by the way. What was the name of your lead actor?
Satya Sridharan and Anastasia Olaway.
Great actors.
Yeah, awesome actors.
Definitely, it's hard to do slice of life, I think.
Yeah.
It's hard. Because as actors...
It can't be too slice of life either.
Right. We're always trying to create the moment and whoa. And as actors, you got to kind of let that go, I feel like, especially with like the slice of life stuff, just like let it happen. And I thought that was so
How much improvisation was there with their actual dialogue and stuff?
Not a ton.
Okay.
So
they're just really good at creating that.
I was like, we went into, so after like 14 years of working on it, multiple drafts, we actually went into production with a scriptment. So like half of it was like completely written, and the other half was like, all right, here's scene ideas, here's like dialogue, like strands and things like that. And then we were kind of crafting it while we were there. But 2 days into our shoot, the strike hit. So the SAG strike hit. And so we had to go on strike for a week. So we were just kind of stranded in Sri Lanka, having to cut days from production, nearly pulling the plug on like the whole thing. It was like, it was like truly like the most depressed I've ever been. And then we got the waiver from SAG and we were able to jump right into it. But we had to make so many adjustments, and I rewrote the entire script in that week. And so in that sense, it was a little bit improvisational because I'm kind of taking influence from what's happening on this actual road trip, right? Like the use of the song "Low" came from that being Muhammad's favorite song, and like working its way into the movie. And so, like there was a lot of improvisation in the terms of like I'd wake up, smoke like 3 cigarettes in my hotel room before even brushing my teeth, and like rewrite the entire scene that we're supposed to do at like noon. And then I'd go to my actors when they were in makeup and I'd be like, hey, sorry, new pages. And just like,
dude, you know, that's so fascinating. I feel like all great filmmaking, forgetting about the performances, is improvisational.
I think so.
Right?
Yeah.
And because I watched this documentary a while back. It was about The Shining, actually. Hello. Here to also plug The Shining. I don't know if anyone's seen this, but it was amazing because like up until shooting days, Kubrick was like rewriting scenes and just like which I thought was fascinating.
Yeah, I don't think a script should ever feel set in stone, because then you're just closing yourself off from whatever inspiration could happen, you know, in that moment or on that morning of. And there's something about the pressure too that I think like really activates you.
It's great, bro.
Yeah.
And Monkey Man had the same thing, right? It was just like
they had set pieces, and then
maybe
one guy's
it's like a Mission Impossible.
My Nokia's on now. Fucking do a backflip, right?
Yeah.
Monkey Man was sick. We premiered the same day as Monkey Man.
Amazing.
And I remember going to like,
hilarious.
it was really funny. I was like, damn, South by really wanted to pit Brown against Brown. And I went to like all the other Brown folks I was seeing at the festival. I was like, hey, like you coming out? They're like, oh, I would, but I'm going to see Monkey Man.
Poor
I was
guys.
like, motherfucker, that shit's going to be in like every AMC in like a week, and I'm going to destroy my hard drive after this screening. Like, come check. This is like the like true like indie. I mean, Monkey Man is fucking awesome, but
you're
That's so fucking funny.
it's like brown people can't win, you know? They're like, fuck, dude, Jesus Christ. They don't want us to really win in droves.
It's like a British programmer who is like, let's divide the Browns.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
It's like a DMV where it's like they have your number and, okay, is Shaun here to be famous? Okay, no. Dan Patel? And you're like, you know, it's number
And I was like,
system,
wait,
bro.
I was just in the bathroom.
You were in the bathroom and everyone got your shit. I really do think that sometimes, like, because Brown, it's like they don't have any or need for concessions for us in the business.
For sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, they're doing great. I've heard they're all doctors. It's all good. They're fine. Whereas with black people, sometimes they're like, oh, shit, we have to give them a lot of stuff because we were evil. Like,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So I wish they had more trauma with us so they could give us more shit.
I know. We should have had our parents should have had like a harder time in the 70s.
Exactly.
Yeah. It wasn't hard enough.
No, it wasn't at all.
Yeah.
It wasn't
Our
at
parents
all.
didn't do this. Oh, my life. We just fucking us up now because now white people think it was all fine.
Yeah.
You know?
It was kind of more or less all fine for them. There's a good degree of Brown privilege.
I know.
For sure.
I know.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah.
I just wish when the guy got called Turban Head that he would kind of go on the blogs and be like, this was bad.
Yeah.
So there'd be a little bit more of an ennui or something.
I mean, everyone had like their little moment where it was like, oh, the guys at my dad's office were mean to him one day.
Well, I think we definitely we fixate a little bit more on the microaggressions, and I think that is kind of like our way of trying to like lay some kind of claim in the whole like discourse. But like,
would you go up?
no one's buying it.
Yeah,
No
I grew up in fucking Edison, New Jersey.
Oh.
So
Okay,
like,
that's-
it was like Brown. So like,
Jussie Sweets, baby.
yeah,
Let's
right.
go.
I was in South Edison, so that was referred to as Gettison. Because like North Edison was where like the more like upper middle class, well off folks lived.
Get notices, they're like,
Yeah.
they get B pluses over there.
Yeah, right,
yeah.
exactly.
Oh,
yeah,
God,
yeah.
85%.
For us, it was like the apartments and military housing, like the Levitt homes that were built like
Okay.
post World War II.
Oh, it was like a little Levittown action there.
Right,
huh?
exactly. Yeah, yeah. So
Interesting.
you know the wrong side of the tracks
Yeah,
of
yeah.
Edison.
Which is the Indian version of the wrong side.
Right,
of the tracks.
exactly.
Did you go back to Edison much?
No, I don't have like any family or connection
Okay.
over there anymore. But like the most bomb ass Thai place is in Piscataway, New Jersey,
Okay.
called Four Seasons. So I'll go
All
back
day.
like every couple months to
To
get
get
that.
that.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
I grew up going to Edison a lot because I grew up in
You grew
central
up in
Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And, growing up, there weren't like Indian grocery stores and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So my family would always, like, once every few months, we would take the trek up to Edison,
Stock up.
go to
Yeah.
Jussie Sweets,
Yeah.
have the Jole Bhatura there, which
Yeah.
shouts to Jussie Sweets. I think it's still open.
I've been there a couple times. Oh, my God.
Oak Tree Road.
Oh, my God.
The whole Oak Tree Road vibe, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Go to Shalimar then for some kebabs and stuff like that.
100%.
Yeah. It was interesting kind of growing up in that space, because like when you hear about in like the brown discourse, right, of like feeling othered, I felt othered in a totally different way, because I'm surrounded by brown folks, but none of them were into Batman as much as me. None of them liked skateboarding or Blink-182, and so like
it's weird because now you get those nerds,
right? Totally. Now there's like way more of that, which is awesome.
Now you show up,
because I was like a Bengali kid watching like Cat Williams,
right? Yeah, totally.
Louis C.K. And I was like, nobody knows this guy.
Then you turn your friends onto it, like, yo, come over and check this shit out, right?
Yeah, you jacked off. No, but after and before, there was a lot of cool stuff. And during, kind of.
Auntie Usama showed me a clown masturbating, doing masturbate stuff.
That's Louis C.K. show, which is him jacking off. How'd you get?
Because Louis looks like he looks like the clown emoji on the iPhone app.
Oh my god,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
he literally does look like a clown. That's how born for comedy this guy is. Pasty white face, and then the cul-de-sac of red.
Yeah.
Were you making films growing up?
No, I was not like a video camera kid. We didn't have a video camera. South Edison, we didn't couldn't afford
Stop this shit, dude. Don't 8 Mile your story.
Seriously. He's really trying to get it in.
Isn't that what we do best as South Asians, though? Create divisions within us. So
there was no Patel Bros.
It was like the Pakistan of Edison.
There was not one Patel Bros in the entire state. We had nothing. Hilarious, dude. Hilarious.
Wait, what were we saying? What was that?
Oh, no. Growing up, you were making films.
No, I was like super into movies. I always wanted to make movies. And then the day before, like early decision of NYU was due, I was like, I need to make a fucking movie. And like super last minute tried to put together this music video, and I didn't even send it in. I like wrote a script that night, which I'm sure sucked because I wrote it that night, and it was like whatever. And so like I didn't touch a camera until I was 24. I did cinema studies in undergrad. So like I was studying all these movies without ever touching a camera. And I didn't make my first movie until the girlfriend that ended up becoming the long distance girlfriend went over there, and I made a birthday video for her, and that was the first movie I ever made. So it's like very weird that like there's this total arc of like the first thing that inspired me to like pick up the camera.
Are you guys still in touch?
We're still in touch. Yeah, we're like
cool.
casual friends. It's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if she's gonna come out to the screening, but
but
she's invited, and it's definitely like good vibes, and she's read the script and stuff like that.
Cool.
So yeah.
Cool.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
It is a very. I mean, I think you going from your life. Because some people are like the Juilliard, they like had everything, and like they're just technically they're from a kid they were just ready to go. But
right, for sure.
I feel like if you are gonna combat that level of technician, you have to be as real as fuck.
Yeah,
right?
You got to be like super vulnerable.
Super you, because the only way to undo that. Kind of technical ability. Whatever.
Exactly. And I'm actually like really happy I didn't go to a film school in a traditional way, because I think then you just get drilled in on like certain kind of technique before your brain has had a chance to form. You're already being sort of indoctrinated with like the aesthetic values of kind of convention, right? Like that's mostly what film schools teach you, is the conventional way to do things that like is going to look good, that like if you get hired to direct a TV show, the way they'll want it done. But I'm glad I went to the new school, so I also then that's even more
very
like kind
radical,
of like experimental and stuff.
Experimental place.
Yeah,
cool.
For sure.
Bro, what are you watching now? Like what
am I
what is the director watching?
Yeah, what am I watching? I watched The Demolition Man recently. Yeah, have you guys ever seen
old,
Demolition Man with Sylvester Stallone?
No, Stallone movie.
Yeah. So you know it was written by Daniel Waters, who wrote Heathers and Batman Returns.
That's
oh,
yeah, because I was watching. I was like, wait, this movie's fucking Batman Returns. My memory of my first erection, Batman Returns.
When Batman was on?
When Batman was on, exactly. Yeah. No, it's actually when Penguin bit the nose of that politician.
Memories of My First Erection by Vladimir Nabokov.
It's just him reading Lolita with a boner. Damn, she's 12?
Yes.
But if you cast someone that's 12, is it okay?
Yeah.
Wait, that'd be a great short film.
Dude.
A 12-year-old having a sexual awakening to Lolita.
Yeah.
It's way more fun than you think.
I mean,
also, my side thing, my dad.
Yeah, she's a girl, but I don't think I'm straight. I think I'm a pedophile, guys. It's like, but you're 11. It's like, no, I know who I am.
And the kid in Lolita was like, "You're a pedophile.
Yeah,
you want me?" It's like she's sassy as fuck. It's
she
like,
is.
It's a whole fucked up book. It's a whole fucked up book. So yeah, you're making that?
Yeah. That's the next movie. Yeah, actually, like legit, might be a short film. If you guys want to make it together, that could be super funny.
CK's last film before he got canceled was about him being kind of attracted to his daughter.
I really want to see it. Actually,
it's on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's on YouTube.
Yeah.
So again, like people being their real selves.
Yeah.
You know, I'm waiting for the next Woody Allen masterpiece coming
Yeah.
up.
Honestly, did you see the French one that he did?
Which one?
Coup de Chance.
No.
So it's like all French language. It's French actors.
Yeah.
It's fucking awesome. I saw it on the plane, and it's like it kind of like you forget you're watching a Woody Allen movie because it doesn't have the like Woody Allen types in it as much. Like that Timothy Chalamet one, which is the last one he did in the U.S.
Yes.
So bad. Like, you know, all the worst sort of like Woody Allen-y kind of tropes. But this movie's really good.
Is he a pedophile? Is that
Woody Allen?
I don't think so. I'm a defender.
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't know
I'm a
if he
defender.
is. I don't actually want to get into it.
You know what?
Yeah,
Either actually. I don't feel like litigating Woody Allen right now, and potentially doing Woody Allen apologism as well.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I just don't know.
I am nervous for the day he dies and needing to post something on the internet about it.
Well, dude, I mean, I do have a friend who is a hardcore Woody Allen apologist and who like knows a lot about Sonia Previn and Mia Farrow, and how fucked up she actually was in the whole equation.
Yeah, that's like some of the stuff, and
Didn't John Wayne die or something, and like the next day they were like, he called a woman toots once on set, so let's burn his statue. So who knows what we're all gonna go through?
Exactly.
Go to the Mango archives, and it's like someone needs to be thrown into the sea. Like take his corpse, exhume it, throw it into the goddamn sea. Jesus. You know, it's interesting. I feel like as an artist too, like. Do you go into the ugly stuff, right? Like, I think you do. Like, you go into those weird moments. The characters are not cool. Like this, the Brown character, and then the first kind of like 10 minutes, he's seen as insecure. He's seen as like kind of passive aggressive. The woman is seen kind of unfeeling, detached. How do you kind of work your character work? How do you like figure out? You like just write stuff down. This guy's like this. This guy's like this.
No.
What's the process in that?
Yeah. So I mean, like, there's so many like different like I've tried doing like write the backstory and write that, and I just like I think that it has to be built off like action. Everything like I think of every movie as an action movie, really. And so like okay, what is the action that's being done, and like what is then the accumulation of these actions that happen, and that's what defines character. And I think if you just portray the character as authentic, there is no likable character. There is no unlikable character. It's just this idea of like, like there could be people that we like, there could be people we don't like. There's no universal consensus on likability. So I think that as an aim in your writing is kind of like a false start in a lot of ways. And so, yeah, I just really think just like, okay, like, are they authentic? Can we understand at least where they are coming from in these certain moments? And that's kind of all I concern myself with.
I dig it.
Yeah.
Like, what do they want? What do these characters want?
Yeah.
Have them go for it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Exactly.
Do you like action movies?
Yeah. I've recently been getting way more into them. So there's two genres that I think are pure cinema.
Yeah.
The slasher and the action movie.
That's right, because you're a fan of the Terrifier series.
Love the Terrifier movies.
Yeah, you love the Terrifier.
Yeah. He's a horror fan.
Horror
I love horror myself, but like he's like for real.
Have you seen the Terrifier movies?
I have not.
I'd say start with 2, then go back to 1 as like a prequel sort of thing, and then check out 3 and 4 to see how it all wraps up.
Now?
Yeah, this is the asynchronous order.
My favorite horror that I've seen the last 5-6 years is Hereditary.
Hereditary
I love
was
that
cool.
a lot.
Yeah.
Just the way they made that.
Yeah.
I love some of the genre bending stuff they were doing, like Green Room, where it was like horror, but also kind of this music world. So
that movie also got punk right. Like a lot of movies that don't get
100%.
subculture right, and that movie really did.
As a comic,
100%.
we're like, that is every bad show we've ever done.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So it's
Exactly.
Like punk and comedy have a lot of the same. Like,
For sure.
Get in a car, drive to some shit.
I have to go headline in Buffalo with Joe.
Is that
in August, I'm like, it's going to be my green room. That's going to be my green room. No. Okay, it's Buffalo. They're good people.
It's
there.
fine. It's all Indian, by the way.
No, that for me was actually Utica, New
idea.
York, because I ran the light, and then like it was like a bunch of Italians in camouflage who were just like, "What are you running the light for?" I'm like, "They like me." They're like,
But we don't.
Yeah. I'm a huge action film guy, and I'm a huge horror guy, but I don't like the slashers as much.
Word,
I'm a
gotcha.
paranormal horror guy.
Okay, yeah. Look at the ghost stories.
I like the ghost stories
Yeah, my
a
wife
lot.
prefers the ghost stories
Yeah,
as well,
possession.
too. Yeah.
Like I love Presence, the Soderbergh movie.
I want to see it. I mean,
Soderbergh.
conceptually, it's amazing.
It was really good. It was actually
You told me
more
to
like
watch that, yeah.
It was really good. It's more like a Jonathan Franzen type movie, actually, right? Like story. It's very family driven and the suburban family dynamics driven.
But it also had that like zone of interest vibe with like what is this camera's like
Yeah.
POV in
Yes,
some ways,
yes.
right?
It was. I loved it though. I really, really loved it.
Yeah, I do feel like with action, it's like it's so pure because it's like the stakes are as high as they can be, life or death, right? It's a character wanting something and going for it. Like, what else do you need in the movie?
And it's told visually, right? Like they're using what is the best shot to display this moment of Jean-Claude Van Damme kicking M. Bison in the face, right? Yeah. Street Fighter reference.
Yes.
You know, I'm talking about this a lot with Pranav. Is that like I hate lofty art? You know, art that's like, look at us, we're art.
White elephant art.
White elephant. Yeah. Oh, look at us, we're awesome.
Striving for profundity.
Right. Insisting, I need.
Yes, yeah,
and
totally.
with comedy too, there's like that. With all art, there's like the and the art world, the visual art
in
world.
Comedy, I call that like NPR comedy.
Shut up.
Yes.
Look at him go. That's exactly what we call it. We call it bad comedy. What blue-haired lesbian comedy? We call it.
See, that's a thing you're going to get thrown into the ocean for. But I agree. I'm with you totally. It's great. It's great to hear somebody who is like an accomplished and interesting filmmaker also have that belief, because there's this phrase of it insists upon itself, and it's just like,
which apparently Family Guy made that popular,
right?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Like I have a phrase.
Started hearing all my students just say that. I was like, where did you like develop this like particular language? And I was like, oh, it's Family Guy.
It's a great thing. It's a great concept because it is what cringe is.
Yeah.
Cringe is someone who insists upon himself.
Yeah.
True cringe. What they mean by cringe is someone who's insisting upon himself.
Yeah.
And to not be cringe means you're not trying to do that.
I know. And then that sucks because then it creates the valley in between. So then like everyone's scared to try anything for fear of appearing like you're insisting upon yourself.
Well, the problem with
like
being
you
a
tried.
kid is that once you're away from cringe, you don't have yourself. That's insane to be.
Yeah.
Because you just want to be liked when you're a kid. So what happens is you get that other part where you're corny. So cringe and corny. You know?
Yeah. It's better to just already lean into corniness when you're younger and then just find your way back a little bit. Yeah.
That's true.
The corny stock is good. Corny is like a beautiful.
Yeah. Because at that point, you truly don't give a fuck. Right, like everyone's already outcast you, and then you've probably already found your really cool friends that are going to be your like ride or dies for life.
Yeah,
dude.
Yeah,
it's true.
That's so true. I think of the same exact artistic philosophy is like, stop thinking too much, just do it.
Yes,
and get something out of the person who's actually experiencing it.
Yeah,
you know, action has that too. Like if you're not like. You're doing action wrong.
And then like shitty action, like you feel as like, why do I feel like nothing? Why was that fight scene like not awesome?
What kind of action do you hate? What do you not like?
Really, it falls into the category of like anything poorly directed. So like those movies, what are the ones with like Liam Neeson?
Taken.
Yeah, Taken, and then the sequels and Nonstop. Like I don't think like those movies have good concepts, but I don't think they're like really well directed. Versus like The Beekeeper, which I thought was super sick. Yeah. So like the ones that aren't as well directed, I just feel like they make really, really conventional choices. They're like, okay, this scene, we're just gonna shoot it handheld, and we'll get a handheld, dirty, like wide shot, and then we'll get a handheld, like over the shoulder, handheld over the shoulder. And that's just
how do you feel about 80 Schwarzenegger?
80 Schwarzenegger is cool.
Yeah. Legit.
Yeah, totally.
Predator.
Total Recall.
Oh, I just rewatched Predator. Total Recall.
Total Recall is a great film. The Running Man.
Yep.
Conan the
they're
Barbarian.
Also like kind of like high concept movies as well too.
I mean, The Running Man and Total Recall definitely.
Yeah.
You know, Commando. No.
I say I haven't seen Commando, but
Commando's
that's like
incredible.
Kind of like, yeah.
Incredible.
So again, I feel like anything conventional, you're like. But wouldn't the convention be like they're conventional because they're good, because they've known to be good, in terms of like the shot being effective? But you're just saying it just all looks the same.
It feels like a non-choice. Like when you see a filmmaking, it's like these are just non-choices. They're just shooting things. That's what I equate to bad directing. Yeah, like I just rewatched Naked Gun, and that's a movie. Every fucking scene. I'm actually going to do like a scene-by-scene analysis on my like Instagram and of just
I'll be
every
tuning in
single
for that.
scene
That's amazing.
breakdown of Naked Gun.
Leslie
it's
all day.
So perfectly constructed, like every single choice by everyone involved, you feel in the movie, and like
so
that's
it's a comedic masterpiece, dude.
Comedic masterpiece.
They're remaking Naked Gun.
Yeah, which I think will be cool. It's the pop star.
Yeah, who is it with?
Liam Neeson.
Liam Neeson.
Guys, we're gonna keep going on the Patreon for a little bit. We've been talking so long.
But before we go there, be sure to check out Shaun's movie, Ben and Suzanne, a reunion in 4 parts. Theatrical release at the Roxy, July
18th and 19th.
18th and 19th.
He's the man. You already know.
And check him out on Instagram, The Brown Shaun.
Yep. SHAUN.
SHAUN.
Last name.
Yeah, but you don't have to worry about that. Just The Brown Shaun. Great stuff all around.
We'll see the Patreon for like a little bit.
Yeah, we'll hang on the Patreon for a bit. Thanks, guys.